All right, people. Finally, we got a new video coming in. This is right here. I'll be changing sandpaper on a drum sander. It's a Grizzly 37-inch dual drum sander, and right here I'll just be showing you how I changed the belt for the. It has two drums, but the first drum I always put a thicker sandpaper. I believe I use 60 or 80 grit, and the other second drum I usually put about 120 or 150 or even 180. You can do that as long as the second drum sounds more. And right here you see I'm just unwinding the sandpaper. The only thing about this drum sander, what I don't like much, is just that the tips hold on with just a small clip. But you know what, after you get the hang of it, it actually kind of works pretty well. Just takes some getting used to. I took off the belt here, and this is the new sandpaper I'll be using. I believe it's a 60 grit. It works pretty well. That allows you to, if you want to put in a little bit more wood on there, you want it to sand a little bit more. It's easier to sand with a 60 grit in the beginning, and then it will follow it with another grit about at least 120, 150, or 180, whatever you want to put on the other drum. Right here I use it's just this lead pencil from Amazon. I could just write down. You gotta find the right angle so you can start when you start clipping, where you clip it onto the drum. If it doesn't have the right angle, the one I'm doing right now, it's not gonna wind up well around. It's not gonna wrap around the drum well, and you will have problems. So if you don't have the angle on it, sometimes it takes some getting used to. Sometimes there's times where you can waste some sandpaper finding out the right angle. But I already know the angle on this. I used the last one. And right here you see I'm already clipping it on the drum. You see these drums have a wheel at the end on each end, and these wheels could move independently from the drum, just so you can tighten up the sandpaper even more. And which is that's the only good thing I like about this, that it give you can, those wheels move separately, and you can tighten up the the sandpaper to the drum a lot better, and that's what helps it from not coming off or anything when you're sanding some panels or doors. And right here, you see right here with that angle that I got, you see how it wraps around very easily and smooth, and it's tight. It's very important when you're putting in these drum sanders. You have to wrap the sandpaper very tightly, very close together. You don't want to have gaps in between, because it could, when you run a panel, it could be a mess. It could rip off while it's on. It could rip off, or it's just a big mess. You don't want to have that. So you want to make sure you wrap it around very tightly and close together. You have no gaps in between the wraps. That is very important. If you don't get that right, like I said, when you start using it, even on the first pass or second pass that you do for a door, it'll rip, and you're gonna waste the whole big piece of sandpaper, because you can't use it again if it rips. Of course not. So one piece rips, the whole sandpaper is lost, and you would have to use another wrap around. Right here I'm cutting the angle at the end with the wheel. You see that? Like I said earlier, these wheels at the ends, they move independently. This one I unscrew it, and that way I could move it around. And you see here where I'm hammering it out, just so I can get the right angle of the sandpaper here. And once I do, then I'm able to clip it on and tighten up the wheel, so I could tighten up the whole sandpaper, and then I put the clip on. Or actually, I put the clip on first, and then I can still tighten it up. Then I tighten up the screws of the wheel. As you see here, I'm putting on the clip right now. Then I tighten it up a little bit with the wheel. I hammer it down a little bit so I can tighten up more, and that's when I tighten up the screws on it. This wheel here has two screws, as you see there, and you tighten it up once you make sure it's pretty tight. Put on the clip, tighten it up more, and then I tighten up both screws. It has two screws. I use the back side of the hammer. It's just easier to hit it. And right here, those screws, I tighten it up. See, I'm tightening it up hit it with the hammer a little bit, tighten it up, and then I tighten up the screws, and it's ready to go. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something from here. If or at least you can have fun watching this. Please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time.